Shalom. First and foremost, that I give all praise and honor and glory to what is due to Yahweh Bahashim Yasha Bahashim Marakakidas, giving out glory and honor to the Almighty Yahweh Bahashim Yasha. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who rule well, who taught us the truth. Shalom to the certified brother out there who preaching the truth, edifying the brothers and sisters while sharing diligence. And shalom to the elect scattered abroad. Today, your brother Ayawab come back at you today with another lesson entitled, "It is the Spirit, not the outer appearance." Because as Israelites, we have been cursed. We have been scattered among the nations, looking like the other nations, mingled in with the other nations. And that's including our women going to mixing themselves with the other nations, defiling themselves and their lineage. Go ahead, get the scriptures. This is Deuteronomy 4 verse 27. "And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be less few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you." And that's what happened. We have been scattered among the nations. This is Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. This is not Slakia. I meant Deuteronomy 28 verse 64. And this is a curse that had been brought upon us. And for edification purposes, I'm going to get the statement that was made by the Most High. "But it shall come," Deuteronomy 28 verse 15, "but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." And this is the curse that came upon us. Verse 64. "And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone." And that's what happened. He scattered us among all people, because we disobeyed him. Here's Ezekiel 36 verse 19. "And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries, according to their way, and according to their doings I judged them." And that's what happened. He judged us. And we're cursed. But, anyways, as I was saying that we look like the other nations. And though an Israelite man gets with a so-called white woman, so-called Japanese woman, any of the other nations' woman, that baby will still come out of Israelite, because it stems from the seed of the father. And I get that scripture in a minute, but I want to bring out to the example first. This is my cousin on my father's side, being a so-called mixed dude in this society. His father is a black man, and his mother is a so-called white woman, so-called black man. And this is his children. And he mingled with a so-called white man to have these babies, to have these children. Now you see these children just wandering about with their mother and not their father. You would think they're so-called white boys, but it's not. That's not true, because he is an Israelite, and he had them, which will make them Israelites because it comes from your father. So you just look at them right here, you would think that they're so-called white boys. You look at them, you're going to think because they look like the other nations. They look like a so-called white boy, because we're mingled in with the other nations. And this is my father, which would be his uncle. And I ain't got a picture of his father, but this is so that his father is my father's older brother. So just so that they're so-called black man. And even him, he mixed with the other nations, having so-called mixed children. And then if my brother and sisters get with a woman of the other nation, and that baby come out not looking like an Israelite, that baby's still going to be an Israelite because it comes from the seed of the father. Let me just go ahead and get that. This is Numbers. Numbers 1 verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared, the pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their posts. So when you determine your lineage, you do it by the house of your father. So where your father comes from. Definition of pedigrees. Pedigree. The record of descent of an animal showing it to be purebred. The recorded ancestry, especially upper class ancestry of a person or family. Similar ancestry, descent, lineage, line of descent, genealogy, family tree, extraction, derivation, origin, heritage, parentage, paternity, birth, family, dynasty, house, race, strain, stock, breed, blood, bloodline, history, background, roots. So it's your roots by your fathers. It's like, but determined by the house of your father, by the seed of your father, do you determine who you are. No matter how many times that Israelite man mixes with the other nation, that baby always gonna come out to be a so-called Jake, to be an Israelite. Even if so you have a black man get with a white woman, and then from here on out, his kids don't get with no other nation, don't get with no Israelite, but just his kids and their kids and their kids and their kids and so on and so forth. His lineage never gets with an Israelite again. They just mix with the other nation, with the so-called white man. That baby's gonna come out looking white, but that baby, and maybe even acting white, like a so-called white man. But that baby is always gonna be an Israelite. As long as they continue to have sons, that son is still gonna carry that Israelite seed. Just like if you put an apple tree into the soil and that apple tree flourishes, that apple tree in the soil, and that apple seed is flourishing, is growing, it's getting warmth, it's getting water, and it grows up. You're not gonna look up, and you're not gonna see bananas growing from that apple tree. You're not gonna see oranges. You're not gonna see nothing else but an apple. You're not gonna see nothing else but an apple coming from that apple tree, from that apple seed, and that's no different from sperm, from this Israelite seed. If you put an Israelite seed into another nation, that Israelite seed is not gonna come out to be an Edomite. It's not gonna come out to be a Japanese person, though that baby may look like the other nation. That seed is still gonna be an Israelite, and then his seed, and then his seed, and his seed, and his seed, and so on. Because that's the same for an Edomite. If an Edomite puts his Edomite seed into an Israelite woman, that baby may come out looking like a Jake, but that baby's gonna be Edomite, because that Edomite seed is gonna bring out nothing forth but an Edomite. So by the house of your father, because the woman has no effect, has no change, has no, what's the word I'm looking for? Has no it's like she don't have no word or authority or whatever to say or to change the fact that that baby is not going to be an Israelite if she gets with an Edomite dude. That baby's not going to be an Israelite, it's going to be Edomite. Just like the woman is an incubator. She's the soil, and the man is the seed. She's an incubator. Let's get that definition of incubator. Incubator, an enclosed apparatus providing a controlled environment for the care and protection of the premature or usually small babies. That's what the woman is. She's an incubator. She cares and gives protection, gives growth to that seed so that seed can grow and sprout and leave the womb. She's nothing but not no disrespect to the woman. But she's an incubator. She just cares. She grows the baby. She grows the seed. That baby is not going to change from an Edomite to a Jake just because that Edomite seed got put into an Israelite woman. That makes no sense at all. Now, when I put an apple tree in the soil and I see that apple tree growing a banana, then I will believe. Unless Esau does some motherfucking DNA shit. Well, yeah, we can do that. Put an apple tree, then that apple tree just growing everything. That's not what apple seed was made for. But y'all get the point. Lord willing. And let's just get some examples. Now this, I don't know about, this is just for show edification purposes, because I don't know who this dude is, where his lineage stems from. But just for show, because he could be an Israelite for all I know. I don't know. He look like the other nation, but he could be an Edom or Israelite. So this is a so-called white man with the Israelite woman. They have they have an Edomite baby, but that baby's gonna grow up thinking he's a Jake. Babies, Edomite babies. Edomite babies. Jake babies. If his lineage sends back to an Israelite, they're Israelites right there. Edomite babies. Israelite babies. Edomite baby. If they had sex and that baby came out her womb by him, that's an Edomite, or it's like that's a Israelite baby. If he ain't a Hamite, yeah, I think he a Jake. That's an Israelite right there. He kind of look like a Jake, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna say that's an Edomite baby. So there are plenty of examples. Plenty of examples. Edomite baby. And that's what our women love to mingle with the other nations. And then that screws up their lineage. And so I was watching this show to give an example before I get into the next part. I think lesson ain't gonna be too much longer. But I was watching this show when I first came into the truth called Roots, and which I advise brothers watch. But Kunta Kinte got brought over to America on a slave ship, and then he had a daughter, and that daughter got separated from him and got sold to another plantation. And then a slave owner or slave master raped her and put his seed, which he was an Edomite, put his Edomite seed into that Israelite woman. And so that baby, which of course was a boy, which I feel like they put this stuff in there on purpose. But that boy came out looking like a Jake. He grew up looking like a Jake. Now, do you think his father, being the slave master in the slave days, and at that point, do you think any so-called Edomite would let him get with a white woman, even though his father was an Edomite, even though he is an Edomite, though he looked like a Jake, he wasn't. They wouldn't let him get with no white woman. So what did he have to do? He had to get with a so-called black woman, so-called Israelite woman, and from then on out, his sons and then their sons and then their sons, they're getting with black women. They're Jake. They look like Jakes, but they're not Jakes. None of them are Jakes. They're Edomites, even though they look like Jakes. So you have Jakes probably to even today's society that, and you could have that. It could have been that one time right there, and then today you could have that same kid could have been black. You could have that same Jake got all black parents, but that one instance where that slave master got with that black woman, that could be the instance that messed everything up. And now you got them thinking they're Jakes, but they're actually Edomites. And there are instances like that today. I'm sure there's plenty of situations like that because the slave master didn't give no fucks, and that's why we not gonna give no fucks when we double portion under them. When we slaying them. Probably shouldn't have said that, but who cares at this point? But as I was gonna say, I was watching it, and the Edomite boy who grew up in that show, he had like 8 kids, and they're all Edomites. Though they look like Jakes, he had like 4 sons, and 2 of the sons had kids, and his sons were so-called Jakes, and they had to get with a black woman. They couldn't get with no white woman. So then they looking like so their kids look like Jakes, but they're actually Edomites. And when I first seen a slave master, I knew, and I said I almost ended it because I didn't want to finish it, but I just watched it just cause. No, and I'm looking the whole time. This dude's an Edomite. But, anyways, so you have instances like that. So you can't just look at the outer appearance of somebody. You gotta try the spirit, which I'm getting into the main point of the lesson right now. I'll start with this one. This is 1 John 4 verse 1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. So we don't believe every spirit we see. We don't believe if we see a so-called white man, we're not going to automatically. Well, we may. Well, I'm not going to say that. Like, I'll be like, oh, he might be Edomite, or he might be a Jake. But ultimately, we can't just look at somebody and tell, oh yeah, they're this nation, they're that nation, because we try that spirit, and we ask them if see if they can receive this knowledge, and if they receive the knowledge and they come into the truth eventually, then they're Israelite. Even though they look like the other nations, they're an Israelite. And there's instances like that in the camp as well. We have Israelites looking like the other nations, but they're Israelites. Why? That's what I'm going to get right here. Romans 8, verse 16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. So their spirit beareth witness. Their spirit told them, yea, I look like the other nations. Yea, I look like a so-called white man. I look like a so-called Japanese man. But they understand the scriptures. They understand that. They understand the curses. They understand the commandments. Their spirit is screaming within them saying, you're an Israelite. You're an Israelite. Follow. Follow. Study. Gain more truth. Gain more knowledge. Seek the Lord. Follow the commandments. Their spirit is telling them. Their spirit is guiding them. Their spirit is saying, yes, you're an Israelite. And yes, you're an Israelite. And then they run with it. They take it and run with it. They're following their spirit. They're following the Most High. And this is what I'm going to end off with right here. This is John 10, verse 27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. So if you of this fold, if you're an Israelite, and you hear his voice, you going to follow. Whether you look like the other nation, whether you look like the other nations or not, whether you look like a so-called white man, a so-called Japanese, Chinese, look like a Hamite, an Egyptian. If your spirit is telling you you're an Israelite, or if you are this foe, ultimately be an Israelite, you will follow, and you're gonna hear the voice, and that's what the brothers who look like the other nations, and even me, I kind of look like the other nations. But ultimately, they heard the voice. They heard the spirit bearing witness. So, that's all I got. First and foremost, let me give all praise and glory to where it's due. To Yahweh, Bahashim Yasha, Bahashim Arkakadas. Giving our glory and honor to the Almighty Yahweh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who grew well and who taught us the truth. Shalom to the Slakia. Shalom to the elders and apostles. Slakia. I'm tripping. I'm sleepy. Shalom to the sincere brothers out there who are preaching the truth and finding brothers and sisters while sharing diligence. And shalom to the elect scattered abroad. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. And you know that it's not the outer appearance, it's the spirit that bears witness. Until next time, Kwam Yashala.